Forget finals, forget ladder position. Carlton versus Essendon. One of our oldest rivalries in this great game that we call football. Carlton want to end a wasted season with some vibes. Essendon want to snap an 11-game losing streak with one hit of pride. It's bragging rights, it's history, and as always, it's probably going to get personal when these two sides meet. Let's get into it. One of the most beautiful rivalries and oldest, steeped in tradition, Carlton versus Essendon. No finals, no silverware, no September fairy tale, but none of that matters when these two sides meet. Essendon, it's been a horror stretch for them. 11 losses in a row, injuries galore, kids running on fumes, and a season that probably ends with more questions than answers. But wait, one last win over the old enemy would flip the whole mood of their off-season. For Carlton, it's been a wasted campaign. One win from 11 games against top 9 sides tells the story. But after smashing Port Adelaide in their best performance of the year, they've got a chance to win back-to-back, give the fans something to go into the summer break with a little hope. And when Carlton and Essendon play, pride and bragging rights are always on the line. So where do they stand? Carlton 8 for 14, averaging 77 points a game, 13th, conceding a staggering 82, 10th. Dominating at the contest as always, though, second best contested differential for the season, and strong in the clearance game, plus 3.3, fourth, and solid in the territory, plus 4.2 inside 50 differential for 6th. But when they get inside 50, that's where them wheels have fallen off. 17th for shot conversion, 16th for scoring efficiency, and 9th for marks inside 50. Translation, in real terms, that means Carlton win the ball. They win quite a lot of it in hard areas. They can even win the territory. But that forward connection isn't great. And from the back half, it translates to it doesn't get moved quick enough. Essendon, on the other hand, 6 and 15, averaging just 67.7 points per game, conceding a massive 93.6. Negative in all the territory stats, negative 1 point contested, 11 for clearance, 15 for inside 50 differential, and they struggle to move it efficiently. 16th for D50 to inside 50 transition, and same as Carlton, 18 for shot conversion, 17 for scoring efficiency, and one of the worst turnover teams in the comp from scoring, negative 20. Essendon's season is really what it says in the stats. It's been overwhelmed. It's leaking goals. It's unable to intercept and struggles to hold the ball. Really a product of having mass injuries and mass key players. When we look at that in the last 5, it always paints the tale. It's fascinating. Carlton 2 wins in the last 5. Scoring is slightly up by +2. Defence holding steady. Contested possessions has dropped as Carlton have tried to get a little bit more on the outside. Turnover game has improved, though, massively. It's gone up from the season. They have really looked to move the ball with a bit more purpose and had some results with it. Forward issues, though, remain. 15 for scoring efficiency. What does this mean? Carlton have tried to sacrifice a bit of contested edge to try and find some turnover and transition game. They have tinkered with this for 3 years now, and they just can't find it. They have been less dominant around stoppage, but this opens up that turnover corridor for the Blues. Essendon 0 and 5, and the offence has collapsed. 16th down by nearly a goal and a bit. Defence leaking, it's up by a goal. Clearance game has fallen off a cliff. Uncontested possessions has really collapsed. The worst of any team in the last 5 weeks. Still inefficient as well. They're not getting the score. 16th and turnover hemorrhaging. Negative 35 goals against. 17th down 2 goals for the season. The kids are spent. They've hit the wall. It just shows that lack of experience at times has really cost them. They get punished when they take the game on. So how could this game go? Well, I mean, it's going to be probably an early arm wrestle. We've seen Carlton dominate early, and Essendon are going to have to try and bring the heat. Some things that we have noticed about Essendon is they do seem to have a tail wag. Essendon are going to have to bring the heat, though. Scrap. Make it hard. Deny Carlton the corridor and make Carlton have issues in the forward half. Essendon are going to have to look to rebound, use Archie Roberts, and try and get the jump on the Blues as they try and have them early feelers that they do inside 50. When the game goes on, though, Carlton's territory battle should come into play here. plus 4.2 inside differential for the season. Essendon are bottom 4. Carlton are definitely going to look to overlap their halfbacks, particularly players like Wilson, Cowan and Cottrell to control and try and get Essendon to really, really hem back. What Essendon need to do is try and do with a deep full press, force Carlton to keep to contest, not allow them to break lines, and it's going to be a real game of cat and mouse with their forward pressure. Essendon need to capitalise early when Carlton do have these slip-ups. They've got to try and get the ball into Archie Roberts' hands and try and make Carlton play pressure football by putting people on their halfbacks and not allowing them to move the ball. Carlton will look to dominate this one and should overwhelm them around the clearance, particularly with Sam Walsh around. Carlton are going to look at, as this game goes on, they have got the running power to run over them. Carlton's strength and flaws are in that midfield. Contested-wise, they're good. Clearance-wise, they're good. They can consistently win it when it's tight. But the big problem is Carlton don't convert that into translated shots. And that's partly because they move it slow and they don't look for the uncontested possessions. Carlton's shots inside 50 rate is really a product of their slow, archaic move from midfield to forward. When they're winning the supply, they waste it badly, and that's where they get hurt on the turnover game. Carlton's turnover differential has flipped recently. Season long, though, it's still slightly negative. But this is where they've got to go. They've got to go for that happy medium. This suggests really that Carlton have got to look for them easier kicks out away from contest. Try and convert that into easier structure inside the forward half. Defensively, Carlton have been rigid, but they do get overwhelmed when you put pressure on their backline. Carlton's defensive to I-50, though, is 5th best. It's solid. But once sides break through and put pressure on, that's where Carlton struggle to defend in a transitional phase. Carlton's game plan is built around the midfield and overwhelming you. Bash clearance, contested ball. The next element for the Blues is trying to turn that ruggedness into flair. And that's where them inside 50 entries come in. It's just big bombs and repeat entries. They need to be able to turn that game into a more free-flowing plan. Use Sam Walsh, try and get the game going, work off the back of the hard work that Hewitt and Cripps provide you. And for the halfback line, is to try and get that ball moving, look for that switch and then go, which they did incredibly well versus Port. Essendon's profile is very similar. It's a woeful scoring side. It really is cratered. They simply can't generate enough forward threat and get the ball inside 50 enough. Being 18th for conversion and scoring efficiency at 17th isn't good. In the territorial battle, being 15th is really poor. It shows that they're constantly having to defend in waves. The last 5, it has improved slightly, but it's still a bottom-tier side. This is where Essendon have got to find that way of giving in and playing the modern-day way. They do it in patches, but at times it feels like they look to protect the scoreboard. It means that they not only fail under pressure, but they end up coughing it up more. Their ball movement, their uncontested possession differential isn't very strong. It's 16th, and it's bottom for the last 5. It means they get strangled by sides who do spread. They've got to try and find a way to combine that, and they are one of the lowest kick handball sides in the league. They overuse the handball in trouble. They're not looking to make space. They're not looking to run ahead. Tactically, Essendon are trying to do everything they should be doing, play fast handball footy, but without the structural support and without the commitment, their turnovers kill them, their ball movement lacks width, and they don't have the conversion power to punish you when they are on top. This is what Essendon need to do. They have to commit. So let's look at what it looks like head-to-head. The midfield battle. Carlton should dominate this contest. They should be very strong here and around clearances. This is going to be the area that Carlton will need to focus on. They've got to look to exude territory from this position and use it. If they get stifled in a game of cat and mouse, they could be vulnerable themselves from turnover. And that's basically a big area of this. The inside 50 game, both sides have got to look for proper, efficient ways. Don't just force it. Both sides at times can be vulnerable from turnover. So this is going to be a real interesting game of cat and mouse. Making sure that you play that extra kick. Making sure you commit. Don't go long. Go short, sharp, and look and make sure it's the right movement. And when it is inside forward, both sides have to put a lot of tackle pressure on. If they don't, they're in trouble. Carlton's turnover game recently has been improving, and that's where Essendon's meltdown is. It's plus 4.2 versus negative 32.2. It's the biggest tactical gap. If Carlton pressure properly, they will feast, and the ball movement contrast is fascinating. Carlton like a kick-mark game style, Essendon are handball-happy. This is where Carlton need to bring that pressure, put that handball over pressure. But for Essendon, if that is your focus point, you've got to take the game on and not be scared. The tactical edge here is clear. Carlton should win the contest, the ball, and the territory. Essendon's turnover game is very poor. Their turnover defence is the worst in the league, and their heavy handball game is a turnover nightmare. The Blues' forward entries, though, does open the door. If they can't finish their work, Essendon have a chance to slingshot against Carlton and get some scoreboard pressure. And that's where Carlton's boisterous game style often comes unstuck. The big stats we're going to be watching here are the turnover game, right? Negative 32.2 in Essendon versus Carlton's plus 4.2. And the clearances, plus 3 for Carlton, negative 6 for Essendon. Big edge. This is where it's going to be really a key battle. The midfield battleground, but then punishing sides. And when both sides are bottom 2 for scoring efficiency and entries, that's where it is key. The forward half-time, this is where Carlton have got to use that pressure. Make it hard. Make Essendon cough it up. If Essendon, though, can restrict Carlton to under 40% efficiency, always going to keep the game alive. That's the big issue for the Blues. They don't finish off the game when the game is on their terms, and they leave themselves open to the counter-attack. This is going to be a really interesting one for Carlton. A lot of change expected in the off-season, and we're going to be really intrigued to see who puts their hand up to say we're ready to take this club next forward. How much faith, though, have you got in Essendon? This year has shown a lot of kids, shows they've got a bit of depth, they know where they are. And in the battle of the inefficiency, who do you think will win? Which side will have more bragging rights with this rivalry? On the numbers, it's simple. Carlton have the contested clearance, territory and turnover edge. They should be winning. But Essendon kids, they might be tired, but they are playing for pride. And the worst thing you can do is underestimate them. Carlton should win this, but it's Carlton. They can be their own worst enemy. And if you give Essendon a sniff, they will feel very, very strong. This game may have no finals on the line, but it's a rivalry that always matters. Can the Blues finish strong, or do the Bombers find one last spark? Drop your tips in the comments. We will be live for this game with a lovely Fiona from Bomber Banter. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. We are so close to 9k. Can't wait for this game. Till next time, and for the last time for the season for a preview, Pom out.